Crazy. You kind of like saw it coming in the near future, but it's kind of surreal. Just like as long as I've basically been alive, she's always been playing, and just to watch her growing up, playing at UConn, playing in the W, playing in the Olympics, like being the ultimate winner. It's something I've aspired to be, and like she's a great role model and just a great athlete for people to look up to, and obviously one of the greats. So it's crazy that she's not going to be playing anymore.
How was she a mentor to you, or was she? How did she help you?
Yeah, just always being there. Like I got her number. We talk a lot in the summers. We've seen each other quite a bit. She's came back here, but just always being there. I think she's done it all, seen it all, experienced it all. So just leaning on her for wisdom, asking questions, and she's just always been there to support, like through the highs and lows and the ups and downs of my career here. She's just always been there to support.
What are some of the things that she does that no one else did on the court? What are anything that you've kind of noticed that maybe you've tried to copy or tried to work into your game, or just things that only she can do?
Yeah, she's very unique in like terms of her competitive fire and her swagger and like just her fierceness. I think that was something that I always looked up to, and just the way that she didn't shy away from who she was, and she didn't hide it at all on the court, and it really just actually shown more when she was playing basketball, and she wasn't afraid of what other people thought. If she was too this, too that, like she was just DT, and I think that's always what's been separating her from everybody else.
What's the most important or memorable piece of advice maybe that she's given you?
I don't know, there's been a ton. Mostly like we both gotten a lot of the yell-ats from coach, good and bad. So it's just like that he loves you and that he's doing it to make you better. And if he wasn't yelling at you, it would probably be more of an issue than if he was. And he always gets on the players who he sees the most. So probably that.
How much of a comfort is it to be able to have some of the greatest players of all time? You can call Diana, you can call Maya Moore, you can call some of the best players that ever played, and they can help you through all this.
Yeah, it's very reassuring to know that they're there whenever you need them, and it's very selfless of them and just very humble of them to be able to have that relationship with us. And so you never want to take it for granted and think that it's something that they're obligated to do. So very grateful that they're just one call away.
Paige, who were your favorite players as a kid, in addition to her? Is there a group of 3 or 5 players that you really looked up to and tried to emulate as a young player?
I think that whole Minnesota Lynx core, obviously Maya, Lindsay being from Minnesota as well. Yeah, I think I just looked up to the Minnesota Lynx so much, and like growing up and going to the games at Target Center, the Barn. Chelsea Gray was always somebody that I really enjoyed watching. So I'd probably say them, yeah.
Paige, are you surprised the season that Sarah Strong is having?
Not surprised. You could see it in preseason that she was going to have a tremendous season. Just the way she plays, the aggressiveness, the selflessness, the IQ, just everything, honestly, that she does on the court. So when you watch her in practice during the preseason, you're not surprised by what she's doing this year.
Speaking of Sarah, able to get her the ball, I mean, she has this probably the softest hands that you could possibly have to be able to catch the ball. To reassuring if your pass is not exactly on target, you know it's still going to get caught.
Yeah, you just kind of throw it up there, and you know that Sarah's going to come down with it. It's the same, like, whenever the ball comes off the rim, I just expect it's going to fall into her hands. She's going to go get it for the rebound. But definitely as a person who looks for her and is passing a lot, it's reassuring to have her on the other end of the passes.
Not that long ago, you were the freshman coming off the great regular season, and then things get real in the tournament. What do you tell Sarah and Allie about the difference of playing a regular season game as opposed to one and done, and your season could be over?
Just to continue to do what they've been doing. Obviously the stakes are a little bit higher. The pressure might be a little bit more. But to not let that change the way they've been playing, who they are, and just continue to do what you're doing but rise another level, have a sense of urgency, and lean on the upperclassmen for advice and for help, and know that they're not doing this alone and they got a whole team with them. So, yeah, I would probably say all of that.
Paige, can I have you go back in the archives for this since we get to look ahead to season Do you remember the first time you heard of UConn women's basketball?
Nah, I can't remember.
Earliest memory then?
I just remember Stephanie Dolson was on the team, and they had just won the Natty. Like, Stephanie Dolson was my favorite player. Just her energy, her charisma, her passion was something that I really admired.
This is your guys' first 4-day break between games since before Christmas. How has that helped you now going into tomorrow's game and just knowing the postseason is about a week and a half away?
Yeah, it was crazy. I felt like we had missed a game or something based on the lack of off days we've been having. But it just helps you get your body right, your mind right, and also like work on things at practice. And we've actually had time to get better, get more reps, and not worry about all like the game days tomorrow. You don't want to like exhaust yourself before the game. But again, like Crane's a great team, and it's a huge game for us on Thursday. So we've been trying to prepare for that and get mentally and physically prepared for that.
We know obviously the big prize that you guys want is the national championship, but how important is it to you in your final year here to win the Big East regular season title?
Yeah, it's like one championship at a time. Want to get the regular season championship, and this is like Crane only has one loss, so this is really a must-win game in order for us to do that and not have to share it. So the sense of urgency is high, and we want to continue to get better as the season goes on and March is approaching. So a very important game.
2 regular season games left. This is your last game at XL tomorrow. Are you starting to feel any of the lasts of it all as you kind of get down the home stretch of the season here?
Now that you just said it, I didn't realize it was my last XL game, but yeah, it's all crazy. Like last year, I sort of knew that I was coming back, but this year it definitely feels different. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I'm really not thinking about it, but it becomes more real as the time goes on.
You've had double-figure assists in 2 of the last 3 games, and you're starting to really push the pace offensively with those long stretch passes up the floor. Is that just something you're seeing, or is that something that's become a point of emphasis?
Yeah, coach is always like, Paige doesn't run the floor, so we don't need to get her the outlet and everybody else run. But it's something we've been working on in practice, continue to try to push the pace. I think it's been, in the past, it's been more on a miss, but we're even trying to push it on a make more recently and make sure that we're trying to score in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. And if not, then we get set up in our offense and run something. But transition has really been a huge emphasis, and I guess I've been starting it a little bit more.
Paige, 21 years ago, Diana was the #1 draft pick, obviously, a position you may be in as well. Do you look ahead thinking, you hope to have a career she has had in the WNBA?
I think I've learned to more stay in the present, but to aspire to be as successful, to be as much of a winner as she has is always something that you want to set goals for yourself. But she had an amazing career, obviously one of the greats. And so when looking at like the blueprint on how to do it and the success she's had, it's definitely something you look at.
You guys have sold out biggest arenas 2 or 3 times now on the road, historic crowds. When you see people in trees and surrounding your bus, I mean, what's that like to you when you walk out of the gym like that?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's surreal, like to see all the support that was there at Hinkle and wherever we've been at on the road. It's been really cool. I was saying, just like, I don't know, it's like you feel very blessed, and to see how far the women's game has come, and like to see people wearing your jerseys, to see people with signs saying how far they've traveled to come and watch the team. And so you're just extremely grateful, and you feel bad because you can't sign everything, you can't take pictures with everyone, but you love and support every single one of them for supporting you. So very grateful.
Remember the first time you had, whether it was a sports figure or someone you looked up to, sign something for you?
Yeah, I think it was Lindsay Whalen had signed a pair of Minnesota Lynx colored Nike shoes. I think I probably still have them in storage somewhere, but I think that was the first.
Do they fit?
They were not my size. They were a little bit big, but.
Early in the season, when you guys are practicing, you're around a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. Now you have AZ, you have Aubrey, you have Caroline back. How much does that help things, having players that have been here for a while and know all the deals?
Yeah, it's huge, especially during March and during tournament time. You have people who have experience, who've been there before, and who have the voice to share their knowledge and their wisdom and whatever they've gathered throughout the past couple years. And so the freshmen have something to lean on. I think it's important.
When did you find out about Diana's retirement, and how?
When did I find out? Probably when I was in Phoenix, watching her play, and then I got a sense that would be the end of her career. But officially, today's Thursday. Yesterday, I would say over the weekend, probably, and. It was, it wasn't even from her. So.
Geno, what do you think life after basketball is going to be like for her? It just seems like she's one person who would play forever if she could.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think it's going to be like for her to trust?
I often wonder because there's a lot of players in her. I shouldn't say a lot of players, but the players in her situation tend to go one of two ways, right? They either completely walk away from it, like, I've done enough, I've had it, I'm out. And since I can't play at the level that I've always played at, I'm not going to touch a basketball ever again, right? And then there's others that hang on because it's their life. It's the only thing they know. It's the only interest they have. It's, it's their identity. I don't think, and I haven't spoken to her about it yet, but I don't think her future revolves around her playing the game, even pickup games, or playing in a fun atmosphere, unless it's with her kids, and I don't think there's a coaching aspect to it that she would enjoy. But I do think there's some basketball off the court related things that she's probably going to find herself getting involved in, whatever that is, I said to her one day, I said, you should be the Olympic coach. It's in LA. She goes, I've never coached before. I said, well, that's a shocker to everybody. Every coach you've ever played for thought you were trying to coach the team. So you've already coached. And it's LA, and you're from LA, and it would be the most amazing thing. I think we were laughing about it, and I think her response was something like, do I have to go to World Championships and go to practice and go all those tours? Can I stay in LA and wait for the team to get there? But I'm sure there's something involving USA basketball, the WNBA, the NBA, something that's going to involve her having some decision-making opportunities on how the game is going to go.
Yeah. So she could be a talent evaluator.
No, she's a horrible talent evaluator because she thinks the best of everybody. And one time in Las Vegas during a training camp, I had her and Sue each pick a team that we're going to play against each other, and they could draft, and they had to draft. And when the two teams were playing, all she did was bitch about who was coaching the team. Since she was the general manager, she picked the team. Somebody else was coaching it. Her team was getting beat, and all she did was bitch about the coaching, not the fact that she picked a bad team. Okay, so talent evaluator, I think being on TV and talking about what the game should look like, or owning a team and deciding this is how the game is supposed to look, like a Pat Riley kind of thing, because she's just that smart and she's that respected and that committed to winning.
She's been the face of every team she's ever played on. She handles it in such an easy-going way. How much you admire how she's taken a lot of people like to kind of pull back and maybe not enjoy the process as much. She seemed to enjoy every step of it.
I remember, to your point, there was never a time, high school, college, Olympics, any European team she was on, any the Olympic team, from the very first time that she's ever stepped on a court with a team. The minute she walks in the gym, it kind of takes on her personality, and she's okay with it, and she embraces it and lives up to it all the time. There's a quality that you have to be like that, and I guess you're born with it. You know, some people try to acquire it. I just think you're born with that. You know, you're born with that personality that she has, and you're born with that talent, and then she perfected it.
How would she be in this day and age playing as a student, do you think? I mean, we talked about the crazy times back in 03, 04, but if she was playing now with social media and all that stuff, as a college student, would that be even 10 times worse?
She wouldn't have been here after her freshman year. She would have put herself out to the highest bidder. NIL, as I said this before, she'd be on 4 different teams in 4 years. She would have maximized that whole thing. The whole NIL thing would have been a huge game for her to play, and the whole social media thing may not. To be honest with you, I'm kidding when I say all this. She's one of the most private people you'll ever meet until she's in front of a crowd, and then she's not. But you don't see her on social media, not like some of these other people that are all over it. That's not who she is. You know, she kind of stays in the background until she has to be in front of everybody, and then she's the best there ever was at that. You know, Dee would walk in here right now and only knows maybe 1 or 2 people in this room, 3, but she would walk around and give you a big hug and a kiss and say, hey, how you doing, how you been? And then afterwards I would go, you know that person? You go, no. But she makes everybody feel, you know, like you're part of her world.
Geno, there's this list of, big list of great players, and there's a real short list of the greatest players, Tiger, Brady, Jordan, Diana. What is that one thing that separates those people from the great ones to become the greatest?
Their drive. You know, if you take into consideration they were all born with the talent, you know, that God-given ability, but not all those people have the drive, the commitment, the competitiveness, the will to win, always. So those people you just mentioned, they were the most talented, but they were also the most driven, and they were the smartest. You know, people think that, you know, you can accomplish those things because physically you're more gifted than everyone else. Those people you mentioned, they're brighter than everyone else. They know the game better than anyone else. And you put those combinations together, it's pretty hard to beat.
Were all those things evident the first time you saw her?
Yeah. Well, obviously you couldn't get deeper back in those days. You know, you couldn't have any contact. But there was something about her that was, I think in high school there was a tournament. I don't know, they planned to play 3 games in 3 days or something. She either tied the game or won the game on the last shot, like in every one of those games. And so you already knew there's a moment that the game has to be decided, and she owns that moment. And then when she got here, we had a lot of really, really good players who were, man, they had won a national championship, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they won a national championship in 2000, right? And she walked in the gym, and first day of practice, second day of practice, third day of practice, they knew right away this is the best player in the gym every day. Now, she had a lot of Sarah Strong in her. She didn't want to show that every minute of every day, every possession, because she was very deferential to those guys. 'cause she appreciated they won a national championship. I've not won anything. But they all knew, and we all knew, that there's something different about this kid than everybody else.